All right, we're rolling. Welcome to 2021. Happy New Year, everybody. My name is Rob Felgiano, and I am a musician and book writer. This is my first book. It's called God Laughs at Dirty Jokes. And if you are one of the folks who follows a lot of the awesome psychics and intuitive YouTube readers, I am a fan of them. I am not myself a reader. I don't do tarot or anything like that, but I do have some psychic ability and a lot of psychic experiences in my family, and that's what this book is about. The title speaks for itself. It's an unusual book. It is not your usual book about spirit. It's kind of quirky because I'm kind of quirky. You'll discover that in time if you stay and watch. And what I thought I would do is I so would like to contribute to the content on YouTube that is being put out by the awesome psychic community in my own small way. I would love to contribute for anybody who's interested in watching. I'd like to read my book in segments. So that's what these videos are going to be. And if nobody watches them, then I might do them anyway. If everybody watches them, I might do them anyway. If nobody watches them, I might stop doing them. I don't know. I'm going in a circle now. I feel like Danny Shea. He always does those tangents. I love Danny Shea. He's great. Let me put a shout out to all these. I won't even do justice, but I love, these are the YouTube folks I love. In fact, let me get my phone and I'll tell you some of the ones I'm subscribed to that I just think are amazing. Linda G is an amazing psychic reader. She's fantastic. Let's see, who else is in my subscription list? So Danny Shea, Black and Orange, so that would be Autumn. Cash Peters, Celtic Tarot, Sheila. Sorry, I'm trying to look at the whole list. Diane's Tarot, Ellie Dreams Down Under. I just discovered Freebird Spirit from Kim at Intuit View, and Kim is amazing. Let's see, who else? Jen Lynn Tarot, Joyce All-Knowing Tarot, Lena Rodriguez, Lilac Lantern Tarot, Nine's Corner, Violetta, Psychic Violetta, Readings by the Empress, Revealing Light, Marianne, been watching her a long time. Cindy, Soul Print, Intuitive Tarot, been watching her a very long time. I'm new to Steve Judd Astrology. Been watching Lori, The Way of Positive Change, for quite some time. Trudy Lee. Who else? That's a lot of people. Clairvoyant Chris, who is Kim at Intuitive View's sister. I don't want to leave anybody out because there's so many great ones and I feel so grateful. Of course, Sterling as well with Linda G. I think that's almost everybody that I can think of at the moment. So anyway, okay, so let's get into it. Instead of me taking a lot of time to try to explain this book about spirit to you, let me just read some of it. I'll also mention this book came out in 2014, and I self-published it. You can, if you like it, you can find it on Amazon. You're actually essentially ordering it from me when you order it from Amazon. And it's got lovely paper. It's got lovely, really white, crisp paper. This was a printing mistake. Right, I got scratchy nose, itchy nose. This was a printing error. They meant to use a lighter stock, and instead they used like a heavier stock. So it's like this heavy stock, and the paper is like crisp white. I don't know. It's just fun. I was so excited to get these. It's like a little pocketbook kind of, you know. Like I wanted this shape was very important to me, and I'm not helping at all because I keep delaying what I'm talking about. Anyway, the book, the cover photo is taken by Augustine Burroughs, the author Augustine Burroughs, and the back photo too. Sorry, vanity. Augustine Burroughs is more of an acquaintance of mine than a friend, but it's a long story. But I was involved with booking him in Buffalo, New York for a speaking engagement 6 or 7 years ago, and he's an excellent photographer, and he happened to take some photos of me. He asked if he could take some photos of me backstage when he was there, because he likes to take photos kind of anything that strikes his interest, and the photos were amazing. I was so surprised at what he captured, and so I invited him to Buffalo to take photos for my next CD. As I mentioned, I'm also a musician, so this was the photo shoot for the CD. But then, if you can see this back wall, this is in my attic. My attic, it's a long story, and I don't know why or how this came to be this painted mural in my attic of clouds. And so this is a close-up of the clouds from one of the backs of the pictures, and it just seemed to make a perfect cover. So I got Augustine's permission to use it as the cover photo for my book. I haven't been in touch with him in a number of years. I know that he did read the book. He said he read it in 2 days, so I'm going to take that as a compliment. Okay, so anyway, let me first read to you there's some quotes on the first inside page. Okay, so there's 4 quotes. It starts with, "Nonconformity is not the adoption of some pre-existing alternative subculture." And that's from Julian Assange, and it was reportedly from his internet dating profile before the whole WikiLeaks thing. So the quote again is, "Nonconformity is not the adoption of some pre-existing alternative subculture." So that's the first quote. Second quote is, "How we treat the vulnerable is how we define ourselves as a species." Russell Brand. It's a common sentiment, but it came from Russell Brand. The third quote is, "No man is more different than another man than the same man at different points in time." That's from me. That's a quote from me. And then the last quote is, "Love is the answer." And that's a quote by Todd Rundgren via England Dan and John Ford Coley's recording of, Light of the World Shine on Me, Love is the Answer. So again, book's called God Laughs at Dirty Jokes. Chapter 1, Atheist, it's probably backwards, sorry. Atheist tickled into submission. Atheist tickled into submission. Okay. "I was 9 when I stopped believing in God. I was physically forced to reconsider atheism at 26. As witness to years of small miracles, I've become a firm believer in much more than this life, something contradictorily cosmic and beautifully absurd. Life has meaning, everything is connected, and spirits are real. We stay in touch, and you can too. I was brought up loosely Catholic in the suburbs of Buffalo, New York, USA, Earth, universe or her virtual reality, with apologies to Kurt Vonnegut, and attended weekend religious education classes at St. Joseph's in North Tonawanda. Tonawanda is a nice Native American word meaning confluent stream, named for the Niagara River, which flows past on its way to Niagara Falls. But lazily tacking the adjective north to the front is kind of lame, something that pale faces would do. I'm white, so I'm allowed to say that. My mom didn't push organized religion. It was about being a good person. When my parents split, Mom was angered she could no longer receive communion at church. She felt unwelcome and stopped going. St. Joe's eventually closed. I don't know how good the Catholic Church is at alienating divorcees today, but they excelled in the 1980s. Soon after, Mom honored my request to stop attending religion class because I was missing my favorite Saturday morning cartoons, especially Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Okay. That's not when I quit God, though. It was about a year earlier when my parents were still together. The tooth fairy's responsible. Mom was ours. It's always Mom, isn't it? When my brother or I lost a tooth, our TF was slick and would come with cash before bedtime, the same evening it was placed under the pillow. Mom later explained this was to prevent a midnight wake-up discovery. Our fairy left notes in calligraphy with seashells. One evening, Mom was out somewhere, and Dad was watching my brother Steve and I. I lost a tooth which I dutifully placed under my pillow, expecting quarters long before bedtime. It was morning before I got paid, and I suspected these circumstances were related. The little detective at work. Mom was combing her long auburn hair in the bathroom the next day when I asked if there was really a tooth fairy. She asked if I was sure I wanted to know. I said yes. And she said no. Then I said, and Santa Claus? A fraud. The Easter Bunny? Scam. I didn't ask, and Jesus too? But surely I thought it, for in my peanut mind, all spiritual entities hung out together. If you prayed to Santa, then Jesus would know too. The Easter Bunny was like talking to God's magical pet, who would relay updates to God, perhaps telepathically. I remember pondering this concept once while sitting on the toilet. The Tooth Fairy toppled Jesus. Like the Tooth Fairy, our Easter Bunny was special. Mom added a sheen of magic by leaving 3-fingered flower paw prints all over the house, leading to plastic eggs filled with money. I hate real eggs. Including at the foot of our beds. Some footprints stopped at a pair of sneakers which E.B. wore around the house. The magic dust would fade over the course of the day. You had to enjoy it while it lasted. In the late 1980s, my high school years, I became increasingly skeptical of religion during the Ronald Reagan, Jerry Falwell moral majority era of self-righteousness. Arrogant figures pointed at us, telling us how to live, but without the humility of introspection. Simultaneously, Richard Pryor hailed the rise of Reagan as the end of fucking, pardon my French, and encouraged everyone to get their last jollies in. I became an antagonistic atheist. I couldn't stand the closed-mindedness, judgment, and false modesty, though I mirrored the intolerance I perceived in my loud opposition to it. My high school notebooks were plastered with pictures of Reagan and Falwell, with big newspaper headlines taped around their faces shouting, "Liar!" My French teacher, Mrs. Versailles, an alias, sneered at me while spying my sarcastic collage. No words were exchanged. I repaid her for the snark by skipping the award ceremony, where she would have presented me with a fleur-de-lis pin for highest grades in her French classes. Later that week, she asked me to stay after class to coordinated oohing from my peers and gave me the pin from her desk without comment. It's still in my dresser drawer. Fast forward to March 1997, nearly 2 decades after the Tooth Fairy debacle and almost one since high school. 39 members of the Heaven's Gate cult of San Diego committed suicide at their isolated group compound because they believed they needed to release their souls to rendezvous with a spaceship waiting for them behind passing comet Hale-Bopp on the other side of the moon. On a sunny winter afternoon within weeks of their deaths, I sat in my bathrobe on the couch of my North Tonawanda apartment, flipping through TV channels. The TV isn't on much. Exploitative daytime talk shows make me feel sad, but I happened to stop on an episode of Maury or someone like that. All of the guests on this particular episode were claiming to have had near-death experiences. One woman said that ever since her event, she regularly blew out computers, fried the hard drives by being in proximity to them, both at work and home, as if surrounded by an electrical field or aura. Another guy said that flash bulbs often popped and lights flared when he walked into a room. As he spoke, the studio lights flickered, which obviously could have been faked, but I watched without judgment, surprised to find myself interested. None of the guests on the show seemed insane. I silently said to myself, I wonder if there really is an afterlife. Immediately after this thought, I heard or felt the name Justin. Then I had the sensation of being tickled all over my body by someone or something unseen. I was completely surprised, but not the slightest bit afraid. I fell to the floor laughing and amazed. I didn't see anything, no wispy white apparitions. It was all feeling. Pardon me as I scratch my nose. So rude. Anyway, the tickling continued intermittently and playfully for the next 90 minutes. An overwhelming feeling of joy swelled in my body. It was the cleanest, purest, surest happiness I've ever felt to this day. There were tears of pure happiness running down my face. I wish I had thought to bottle them. I had to ask my visitor, it felt singular, not plural, to take a break so I could catch my breath. The tickling immediately stopped. The presence felt respectful. It was the middle of the afternoon and beautifully sunny. The setting helped to make it less of an uncertain or scary experience. When it started, it seemed like the most natural thing in the world. The presence remained with me as I walked around the apartment, tickling me again until I laughed so hard I had to ask for a time out again. It was excellent company. I was buzzing and high but clear-headed, excited to be breathing alive and having the experience. Grateful. Sorry, 1 second. I just couldn't scratch my nose on camera one more time. I had to lean away. Okay. I finally got my day started. It tickled me in the shower. More laughter as the water ran down my face. Okay, I get it. Give me a break. Seriously, who gets tickled by a ghost in the tub? I guess I do. It tickled me in the kitchen while I drank a glass of apple juice. The giddy playfulness sticks in my mind, perfect in its innocence, beautifully clear. I phoned my mom. She believed me without hesitation because she's had experiences with spirit over the years, as has my brother, though we are far from spaced out hippie mystics. I come from a grounded family and we eschew pretense, except for the use of the word eschew. We've resisted embracing a constructed artificial identity that suggests specialness on our part. I think humility is a key to life and maybe the reason why some secrets have been revealed to us and others, like yourself perhaps, especially you light workers out there, or in the future if you seek it. Justin, this is going back to where I heard and felt the name before the tickling started. Justin was my mom's second child, born 3 years after me. He was severely premature and died hours after birth. My brother Steve came 3 years after Justin, also very premature, resulting in cerebral palsy. Steve is unable to walk and uses a wheelchair. Steve went to a terrific special needs school in downtown Buffalo when he was young, and our family spent a lot of time around kids with all kinds of disabilities, many far more severe than his. The experiences inevitably color my perspective on life and vulnerability. I can't be certain it was Justin who visited me, but someone did. The event was way too concrete to dismiss as a hallucination. It was grounded, physical, and unambiguous, not to mention lengthy. If it hadn't happened to me, I might doubt the story. Hopefully you'll find me to be a credible messenger. I have to laugh though when I catch a ghost hunting TV show and everyone's freaked out because maybe a door slammed all on its own. Once you've been playfully tickled for 90 minutes by an unseen presence, your only options are to decide it was real or that you're delusional. Truthfully, everyone's a bit insane. From there, it's a matter of what type and to what degree. My insanity is a standard strain. I like to get spacey creatively, mostly when writing music and contemplating the great unknown, but I'm otherwise pragmatic and don't do drugs. Amazing Belgian beer is my delicious vice. I believe that scientists and spiritualists are searching for the same thing, investigating the mysteries of the universe to try to understand the relationship between math and magic. A belief in something greater than this world doesn't invalidate science or vice versa. It's ironically beautiful that neither side is able to definitively prove its case as to the existence or absence of a grand designer who may or may not still exist or care about the universe. It leaves more room for what we each believe and whether there's a deeper meaning to life, though I'm convinced there is. A lot has changed since the Tooth Fairy was debunked. So that's the end of chapter 1. I see that I'm coming up on 20 minutes, and I thought that I would try to keep these videos kind of brief in case anyone actually ends up watching them. And then I would read more chapters in successive videos. So if you did happen to see this video and you would care to comment, you are most welcome. Please be nice. I'm a sensitive human being just like you. And if you say something really mean, I'm gonna get sad and then I'm gonna delete it. So, but thoughtful thoughts are always welcome. If you'd like to share your experiences with spirit, that's also always welcome. And again, thank you to all the amazing YouTube psychics, readers, intuitives. I'm just very inspired, and that's why I did this video, because those folks have just helped me and so many other people I know get through this amazing and incredibly difficult last year. And it seems appropriate for me to start on January 1 in the fresh year, 2021. Hopefully it's going to be a great year as we go. So bless you, much light and love to you. May you be surrounded with feelings of calmness, joy, love, comfort, gratitude, hope. See you next time. Thank you.